And Chad, just welcome on into an opportunity to interview the designers of this beautiful set, which I'm very much looking forward to building tomorrow. You guys have obviously been playing and, of course, designing this set for quite some time. So if I can, I'd love to just get a quick introduction from each of you so I can learn a little bit more about you, and Chad can as well.
My name is Chris. I'm a senior model designer, and I was one of the model designers working on this set.
I'm Wes. I'm a design master. Also, obviously, working on the set.
How long have you worked at Lego, Chris?
I have worked at Lego for almost 10 years and as a designer for 6.5 years.
Wow, cool.
Yes, almost 10 for
And are
me.
you Danish?
No, I'm
What?
Canadian.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So, Chris, you said you worked there for 10 years. Is that right? Sorry?
Working for Lego for almost 10 years. But
Almost 10 years,
I started
okay.
as a model designer 6.5 years ago.
Gotcha.
And Wes has also been here 10 years. Very fittingly started work on the Lego Elves line all the way back in 2013.
15.
14. Really?
Nice.
That's when it came out.
Yeah.
So you started working on it in 2013.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Helping to design this element, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
critical to making this model a success. My name is Mike. I'm also a model designer. Been at Lego for a little over 10 years. Started in the Creator 3-in-1 line. I've been working on various adults projects, which have changed to various names over the years, but we currently call ourselves Lego Icons. And this is Lego Icons, Lord of the Rings, Rivendell. So I've been practicing delivering that name a lot, and I'm quite proud of myself, so I have to use it as much as I can.
Nailed it. Absolutely.
My name is Ashwin. I'm a senior graphic designer and I was the graphic lead on this project. That means that I also work together with a lot of other graphic designers in this set. Worked at Lego now for 4 years. Started in Hidden Side, also did a lot of Lego superheroes. But since 2 years, I'm the graphic designer in Lego Icons, so to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your history with us. That's amazing. I'd like to start with just what made each of you want to work on this set potentially. Had one of you brought this idea maybe to Lego, or did Lord of the Rings come to you guys? And then what incentivized you to want to bring this set to life?
I mean, we're all pretty much big fans of
Yeah.
the series, or the movies and everything. But I guess for me personally, I was a huge fan of the movies, and then the entire first line is what actually brought me back into Lego from my dark
Awesome.
ages. So, and they were just wrapping up all the Hobbit sets when I got to Lego, so I was kind of sad that I missed the boat on that one. So I was super happy that this came up. And sometimes I get opportunities to just do sketch models for different departments. So that's what happened with this. Jamie just needed some help making a sketch model, and he asked me if I had time. And he's like, "Do you have time to make Rivendell?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So yeah, that's me. But
Yeah, but I think we've all been very keen to work on a Lord of the Rings thing ever since we started. Maybe not you quite as much, Ashman. I don't want to speak for you.
No, I remember the old Lord of the Rings sets were in the toy shops, and but I completely missed that boat. I know the movies, of course, so for me it was a very cool opportunity to work on it, and I think the enthusiasm of the guys here and other colleagues in the building was so great that it also inspired me a lot to love it even more.
Good stuff. All right. What was the time for the design process from start to finish? When the first idea came about for it, and to now, obviously, what is that total time that we've been looking at?
I think it's around summer of 2021 that
Okay.
Wes was first talked to about building a version of Rivendell. And at first, you started kind of making a microscale version similar to how the Hogwarts model was done.
Yeah.
So you started building that, or
Yeah.
you built it.
yeah, and then at some point we decided to shift towards this one, and then at that time, because I was splitting my time between different projects, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this whole model by myself. I would, but I really want to work on it. So can we assemble some sort of fellowship of other designers to get it going? And Mike was sitting in the Icons team, so it made sense that he was on it and kind of driving it from the model side. And then Chris and I are just super huge Lord of the Rings nerds, so we
Yeah.
stuck on it.
Yeah, that same thing where I also didn't have enough time to work on it 100%, but working on it with my other stuff on the side, it was a perfect
Yeah.
combination.
Sweet.
I was gonna do a great gated off joke about how long it took to make, but I've ruined now. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
For everyone, he's like, each day felt like the life age of
That's good. That's good. And that actually does seem
I'll do
like
that
less
next time.
time than
Set
some
me up,
other stuff.
okay? Yeah.
What was that, Mike? Sorry.
Set me up for that joke later, okay?
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Oh gosh, that's a lot of pressure. What would you guys say for each of you? What was the most challenging aspect of creating the set? Was there anything that stood out to you in particular as being very difficult?
Yeah, I think the gazebo on the side here was something that I built a version of it right at the very start when we decided to go minifig scale on it. Because you see it in that kind of like opening shot. You know, if you just Google Rivendell, it's the first thing you see is that gazebo just kind of sitting there. So we're like, we need to have that model or have that in this Lego model. And so I built one and it looked nice, but it was pretty fragile and it wasn't very easy to build. So that was gonna be the challenge, is how do we communicate in a printed instruction booklet how to build this? You know, I'm not gonna be there to show people how to build it every time. Maybe sometimes, but not every time. So, you know, how do we do that? And I think this was like probably the best example of where the three of us model designers were spending all of our brain power together to try to figure out how to build this thing. And, you know, we started this at the very start of the process, and it wasn't until like the very end that we kind of came across the final design. So it was on the back of our minds throughout the entire development process. And we finally kind of like, we were almost like building in each other's hands and just kind of like fused it together and made like the final one that we see here.
The very first draft, you were like, Mike, can you help me to build a hexagon? And I made like, I just approximated it, and you're like, is this good? I'm like, it's close enough.
That will come back to bite us.
It came back to bite us.
And then like, no spoilers, but we found a way, like specifically the upper hexagon is no problem. That's very easy to do. The tricky part was making a hexagon where the feet connect. And we had a lot of different ideas of like, maybe we just connect 2 of the feet and the other 4 are floating. Maybe we make something that's just not quite a hexagon and there'll be enough wiggle room in the way we build the top that it won't matter. In the end, we actually found a way to build a perfect hexagon in the base, and I'm not going to show anyone how we did it, but it's very funny, and you definitely should just pick it up. Just show them how stable that is. It's ridiculous. It's like,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's
Pull the bottom.
swooshable. Jeez.
We also like there was this pillar piece. It's the pillar that's used for the lampposts in the modular street.
Okay.
It's got like it's the Fabulous pillar. It's got a 2x2 base. That was like everywhere in our original concept model because it's got such nice detail on it, and it was just perfect for Rivendell. But that 2x2 base connection just kept on giving us trouble, like everywhere that we used it. And I don't remember where we first took it out, but just like slowly over the whole iteration of the model, like, I really want this in, but it doesn't quite work here. I'm like, I really want it in here, but it doesn't quite work. In the end, we didn't end up with any of them. But I don't think they're missed. I think we did a pretty good job. But maybe that's like a quiz we can give for people. Not right now, but that should be a quiz later on. It's like, where was there originally one of those Fabuland pillars? Where all the spots?
Originally.
How many
think
would
there
have
were more.
originally been in the set? I
think there
feel
were
like I have to ask now.
1 million.
1 million. Oh, wow. Okay. The parts count on that is pretty
I
high.
think it's close. I'm
Was the
close.
question candles?
How many of them were originally in the set?
We had 1 million, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had to trim it down.
It was somewhere between 0 and 1 million.
Okay, got it. So now that we've gone through one of the more challenging aspects of the build, what would have been one of the most fun parts of the design process for you guys?
I mean, I
What
think
about you, Ashwin? What was the most fun part of designing the graphics?
I think it was like, for sure to see like all the characters on your screen, right?
Mhm.
As graphics, you know, you have like all the characters on the screen and you're working on them and you have to update the outfits and like maybe expressions and stuff. And there is already so much history nowadays with like the movies and the previous Lego sets that we are starting to like do little tweaks and jokes in it. So yeah, the most fun thing for me was with Boromir that on the 2-sided expression there is one side of the head that has the now classic meme face of one does not simply walk into Mordor.
That's so great.
He has the smirk. So yeah, we talked about it earlier before, but if you want, you can literally make that shot now in Lego form, with him doing the expression in his Lego form in a way.
That is fantastic. I definitely think you're going to see some memes, Lego versions of the meme pop up with that. That's
That would be
brilliant.
great.
That's brilliant.
Looking forward.
That's a great Easter egg. Did anyone else have anything they really, really enjoyed, or should I grab the next question?
I think we had a lot of fun with all the different trees. That
The
was
trees?
something that was like we originally, I don't remember, maybe fun isn't the right word, but we built so many versions of trees that are not in here.
Oh, yeah.
Just like exploring, because normally a tree is like kind of a add-on to a model. That's not the right word, but you know, like
Just
the
scenery.
trees of Rivendell are like central to the location. So we felt like we had some license to kind of go a little bit above and beyond what we normally would do in, say, a modular building or in a friend set. Yeah, like that monster tree there, like the tree that's sitting next to the council ring. I don't know. We spent a ton of time exploring variations of how to get this diamond pattern in the roof. I think just in general, though, like kind of normally when we work on a model as designers, we work quite independently on our own. And of course, we sit in larger design teams and we collaborate with the designers in our team. But at the end of the day, like the very fine details of how the model comes together is up to you. And so on this model, where it could be the three of us working together, I think it was like, I mean, sometimes it could be difficult to find consensus between the three of us, but like having each other to kind of lean on each other's expertise, and also like know that when I'm talking about the way that these curved tiles get attached, like Wes and Chris understand the implications that has for deeper down in the model. So they're not just going with like what they think looks good. They actually understand the problem in the challenge at a much deeper level than you would normally share with in a design meeting or whatever. So just being able to like collaborate at that level was not like totally brand new, but just very refreshing and fun to do.
Yeah. I mean, there was one point where we felt like it really felt like we were kids that were playing with each other's Lego, and like let's just build a big Rivendell, like the way kids like want to work together to build something huge.
I remember being so excited. Like, I get to go in and like play with Lego bricks with my friends and build a Rivendell model today. This is gonna be awesome. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I love the collaboration there. A fellowship, right? All right, and then let's do like some rapid fire ones. Maybe each of you just quickly throw out, if you can think of it off the top of your head, you can pick one or two if you can't think of all of it. Favorite feature, function, favorite piece, favorite technique, and favorite minifigure. I know that's a lot of things at once. But yeah, feel free to pick one or two of each.
I'm happy with the hot dogs and popsicles making the chairs around the
Nice.
council ring.
Great call out.
I also like to think that they're covered in peanut butter. Just to give more food to that area.
I mean, my favorite piece is Fern.
Yes.
I love botanical stuff. I like when we got this new 3-leaf piece several years back, I was super excited about that. And it was everywhere. And in this model, like when we started doing all the foliage, like we had like so many of this piece that it was just like, I wish we had something else to diversify the botanical nature of a lot of what's going on here. And looking at the reference, it's like ferns were everywhere. So being able to bring that piece in to get something new in that area is really exciting to me.
Yeah. Anything jumping out at you, Mike?
Okay. I don't think I have a favorite piece. There's a battle droid robot arm.
Okay.
Two of them in white to connect some of the pillars around the council ring,
Oh,
and that was very satisfying geometry
Sweet.
to discover the way that it worked. It's very, very, very. Yeah, you're gonna have to go read the building instructions, and I don't think anyone will appreciate on like the technical level how well it's working. So it's not very interesting.
You appreciate
answer,
the
but-
problem that it solves.
Yeah.
Mike,
I love
I can
it.
tell you, people do appreciate it. I promise. I've almost come to tears like over the last few years building sets a couple times when I like just catch those little techniques. I promise they are appreciated. So I'm looking forward to finding it when I get to building it tomorrow.
All right. Excellent.
And then I do feel like we got an answer from you on the minifigure, but yeah, anything else that you have in mind?
Yeah, I also like the decorated tile piece that we did because Mike and I worked a lot together on that one. If you know Mike, he's very, very mathematical, and he's like,
It's not an insult.
no, it's I admire you for it. Like, he came to my desk and like, we have this idea for this decorated tile piece, but it has to be a repetitive pattern, and let's figure it out together. And there are some limitations in printing tiles because the decoration cannot go to the edges. So we were playing with a lot of our limitations and possibilities, and we tested the limitations of the design program as well, just to figure everything out. And Mike was so detailed even that he said, like, if you put two tiles together, there's little air space between them, and I think we have to calculate that in to make everything
Wow.
super mathematical.
Well,
and repetitive.
like normally when we're getting into the real, like when we're getting to the super fine details of graphic design, it's normally centered around the figures because like
Yeah.
they are so important, and every line is conveying so much. Like we have very little to work with. So normally like when people are coming up to you, it's like, hey, you know, I don't think the facial expression isn't quite right or whatever. And I'm like, I'd be like coming up to you, that's like, so Ashwin, we need to talk about the thickness of the border on the weird quarter circle.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, this again.
It was something new, let me put it that way.
That is some crazy detail. I love it. And then I think I only have you guys for one more minute, so I'm going to be a little greedy with this last question. I did want to take some from chat, but I don't think we'll have time for it. Are there any new recolors of pieces that like builders would be excited about in the set? I know we've got the new firm piece, which we're all stoked for, but are there any recolors of any pieces in the set?
If you like to build elven architecture, this piece
In white, is that new?
elves in white. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll hold it up to the rest of the shirt.
Yeah,
It's green.
nice.
That
That's a
one.
great part. Great part. Any other ones quickly that we know of?
This was a color change, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think the sausages
Yeah.
and the ice creams
Mhm.
and the
The bar holder.
bar holders and a lot of the minifigure components are new colors. This the 2x2 sign in sand green is new.
Oh, also the
1x1
tiles,
tile in I
It's
forget
in medium.
18
Nougat,
just nougat.
Just
Sweet.
Just nougat.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't know. It's very hard to keep track these days because there used to be maybe 10 years ago, most Lego product launches would be like January and June.
Mhm.
So it was pretty easy to keep track of which set would launch a new color change.
Ah,
But
right.
you know, we have sets coming out every month now, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to keep track of like, did we make that change for Rivendell, or was that made for that Speed Champions car, or which one is out? Which sets have been revealed? Which sets were actually just leaked? And all that. It's very tough to keep track of like what are we allowed to talk about, what are we not allowed to talk about, and what is new. This is probably the very first one we agreed on was this
Yeah.
the big quarter donut, which is really funny because like if you sat down and were like, okay, Lord of the Rings, Rivendell, like what do we need? Like I don't think your first guess would be like, we need the 6x6 donut in sand green, otherwise we're never gonna get this done. But sure, that was the first one we actually did was this. It made it. It made it all the way through. Good job, buddy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know what? I thought the call would actually magically end at the time, so I'm going to take advantage and ask one or two more questions. Is there any Easter eggs that you might want to tease within the set? I obviously don't want you to necessarily spoil anything, but maybe you can be like, hey, when you're building this part, you know, look out for something fun, you know, as you're going through it or something like that.
I have a good one. If you got the box set of DVDs of the extended edition from the Fellowship of the Ring, and if you look at the behind the scenes photos of the set pieces, a lot of them are like film photos from like, you know, 1999. If you look through all of those photos, you'll find a photo of a prop, and we included it in this set. And I don't think you see it in the movie at all, but
Wow.
it exists. So see if you can find it.
Okay, that's a great one. That's a great one.
But
I
it
know people
requires
are
a
going to
lot
be
of
hunting
homework.
now.
You have to find that DVD box set, probably buy it on eBay, and then
There
do the rest.
also in one, I don't know how the right way to say this. Can I say that it's in one of the maps? in one of the maps, there's a reference to one of our favorite scenes from the extended edition.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And what else is there that's really good?
Really
Specifically,
tough.
you could say specifically a quote that.
No, that's
No?
too much.
All right,
That we
well,
said.
like I said,
Rated. Covered it up.
I don't know. There's plenty of like. It's tough to say what is an Easter egg and what is not, but it's hard to know because I don't mean to brag, but we're so well versed in the movie. Like we've rewatched it so many times,
Yeah.
gone back and looked at all sorts of photos. So it's hard. It's really hard for us to judge like what is a normal thing that someone would know about the Lord of the Rings and what is something that no one has any business knowing about Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
Actually, if I may, that made me think of a really funny question. How many times did you guys watch the movies, like for studying for this set?
I think only once have we watched it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We watch clips like to look for reference, but like one full
Yeah.
sitting.
I feel like it was almost constantly playing on my screen.
Well, we had the soundtrack during our build throughs.
Oh yeah.
There we
When we
go.
were sitting down building through the model together, we were just listening to the soundtrack on repeat. I don't know if everyone in the meeting loved it.
No, our model coach definitely got tired of it at a point.
After like the 18th hour.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then I do have one question I'm going to throw in for chat. I'm going to call it at 5 minutes after. I feel like that's plenty of extra time. Is there one thing that you couldn't include in the set, either due to time or piece count constraints?
1,000,000 pillars.
Yeah, well, it's not really. We really I wanted to have Gimli's double-headed battle axe. We made this new like family mold development so that we could include a bunch of different weapons in the model. And I was so excited to get Gimli's double-headed battle axe because I thought that was one of the most awesome weapons from the movie. But we spent our element designer Yoel, who's not here today with us, but yeah, he's been in other designer videos and he's been around. He like went back and looked through everything in the movie because he was like Gimli does not have that battle axe in Rivendell, and I was just like, Yoel, you don't even know what you're talking about. I like went through the movie with a fine-tooth comb, and sure enough, he actually picks that axe up in the Mines of Moria. We're not quite sure if it is in Balin's tomb or next to it, but when the cave troll smashes the tomb, it's after that Gimli picks it up. So it might be that it's actually in the tomb with Balin's remains, and Gimli takes it from there, and he carries it with him in the trilogy, but it's not actually present in Rivendell. So we ended up choosing to not include it, kind of mainly just for authenticity's sake. So I hope if Lord of the Rings Lego sets continue, I hope there's a chance to bring that axe.
Okay. I feel like that's a little bit of a teaser there.
I wish that I was in charge of deciding about
Fair enough.
axes in the Lego portfolio, because I'd definitely include that axe. But unfortunately, I am not the axe man.
All good. All good. Well, guys, I'm going to let you go here. Thank you so much. This was so awesome. Really appreciate the time and sharing all this amazing insight. And I'm obviously super excited to get to building this tomorrow. And I'm just excited to see all the amazing details and love that you guys put into it. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Are you going to build it live? Is that
Yeah, I will be. I will be. Absolutely. So I'm not going to do it in one sitting, I don't think. I think that would be a little tough as a solo, given the number of pieces. But hopefully over 2 streams, I can get it done. So we'll see.
We should drop in and ask some really tough questions.
Yeah, gosh.
Do it.
All right. Oh, hey, please do. Please do. I'd be honored to have some designers in chat. So, all right. Thank you so much. I'll let you guys go, and you have an amazing rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your like Q&A and stuff.